Welcome to our Bedtime Stories channel. Tonight's story will take you on a gentle journey into sweet dreams.
This bedtime story is called The Moonlight Kite. It's about a boy named Eli who flies a glowing kite under the moon and discovers a magical journey through calm and dreamlike skies. On a quiet hill at the edge of a small town lived a gentle boy named Eli. Every evening, after the sun went to rest, Eli liked to stand outside and listen. He listened to the slow wind moving through the grass. He listened to the soft hoot of an owl far away. He listened to his own breath, in and out, like tiny waves on a lake. The hill felt safe. The sky felt wide. And when Eli felt a worry in his chest, he would tell it to the wind and watch it drift along the field until it was small. One day, Eli found an old kite in the attic. It was folded with care, like a secret letter. The frame was light, and the cloth was pale blue, with a silver thread that curved across it like a river. Along the tail were little bells tied with knots of white string. When he shook the kite, the bells made a sound like raindrops on glass. Eli smiled. He had never flown a kite at night. Could he fly one under the moon? He wanted to try. That night the moon rose like a lantern. Eli walked up the hill with the kite in his arms. The grass brushed his ankles. The wind waited, quiet but ready. Eli held the kite high and ran. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the wind took a deep breath and lifted the pale blue wings. Up, 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 the kite climbed, and the bells tinkled in the cool air. As the kite rose higher, the silver thread began to glow. Eli blinked. Was he seeing it right? The thread looked like a tiny river of light, winding across the cloth. The glow slid along the tail and into the bells. Their sound changed, soft and low, like a lullaby hummed by the night itself. Eli's worries loosened, as if the knots in his chest were being untied by gentle hands. He let more string go. The kite pulled, but not in a wild way. It felt like a friend holding his hand. The moon shone on the hill, and the town below was quiet and small. Eli stood with his face turned up, and the wind touched his hair. A calm warmth filled him, like a blanket fresh from the sun. He whispered thank you to the sky. The kite answered with a tiny bell note, bright and kind. Eli smiled back at the sound and felt something gentle open. The way a flower opens at dusk when the air is cool and kind. He planted his feet and breathed with the night. In, out, slow, slower. The silver thread shone like a path. It felt as if the sky had set out a soft road just for him. Eli did not know where the road went yet. He only knew that he was ready to follow where it wished to lead, with the quiet moon above, the safe hill below, and the friendly bells telling him, again and again, that he was not alone. Eli sat on the soft grass and watched the kite draw slow circles in the sky. As he watched, a small thing happened. The silver thread on the kite stitched a path between a few faint stars. The path twinkled, and along it drifted a little boat made of light. Eli rubbed his eyes, but the boat stayed. It floated as if the sky were a lake. In the boat sat a girl with a red scarf, swinging her feet over the side. She waved at Eli, and he waved back, surprised but not afraid. The girl spoke in a voice like wind through leaves. She said her name was Mira. She said the Moonlight Kite could open small doors to quiet places, where dreams begin. Eli looked at the string in his hands. It hummed, gentle and steady. Myra asked if he wanted to see. Eli nodded, yes. The boat slid along the thread of light, and the kite followed, as if guiding it. Mira pointed to a cloud shaped like a cat. The cloud purred. Its soft tail brushed the stars and left tiny sparks that fell like slow snow. One spark landed on Eli's cheek. It did not burn. It was cool and sweet, like a drop of morning. Eli thought of his mother's hand on his forehead when he was ill, and he felt safe. They drifted past the cat cloud and came to a small island made of feathery dandelions. The island bobbed on the sky lake, light as breath. A path opened between the seeds. At the center stood a clock with no numbers. Its hands moved like the tide. Mira said it was the dandelion clock of rest. When you listened to it, your heartbeat learned a slower song. Eli listened. Tick, tock, hush, rest. His shoulders softened, his jaw unclenched. He smiled without trying. Myra touched the clock, and the seeds rose and swirled. Each seed carried a tiny picture, a warm cup, a safe bed, a friendly face. These are pieces of peace, Mira said. They fly to children who need them. Eli watched the seeds drift off the island and into the night. The bells on the kite chimed in time with the clock. The boat turned, and they set off again along the silver thread. The moon above them calm and kind. The sky around them wide and still. The soft road opening wherever they looked. As they left, a breeze carried the sweet scent of clean rain, even though no rain fell. Mira held her scarf so it would not trail in the light, and she smiled at Eli as if they had been friends for a long time already. Eli let the calm settle deeper, the way sand settles when the water grows quiet. He could feel the string between his fingers, warm and steady, and he knew the night would guide them gently to the next place. They came to a bridge made of folded paper cranes. Each crane held a wish in its wings. The bridge arched from one star to another, and the paper shone with a soft pearl light. As the boat passed under, a few cranes dipped and bowed, and the wishes fluttered down like tiny notes. Eli caught one and read it. It said, "May my sister's bad dream be small tonight." He felt his chest warm. He placed the wish on the water of the sky lake, and the lake drank it like tea. Mira smiled and told him that the Moonlight Kite listens to small hopes. It does not chase loud things. It carries the gentle ones, the ones that whisper. Eli thought of his own hope, to fall asleep without a twist in his tummy. He whispered it into the string, and the string hummed back, like a cat softly purring on a lap. Ahead, a slow wind opened a door in the dark. Through the door lay a meadow that only wakes at night. The grass there glowed faint blue, and tiny moths in soft sweaters floated from flower to flower. A fox with warm eyes walked by and lay down, head on paws, watching over a nest of sleeping birds. Nothing hunted, nothing ran, everything rested. Eli's breath matched the rise and fall of the fox's sides. At the far edge of the meadow, they found a small library made of tree roots. The books were tied with ribbons so they would not blow away. Each book held one kind, simple story. A sign said, "Read with your heart, not your eyes." Mira chose a book and set it in Eli's hands. He held it to his chest, and the story rose up inside him like steam from cocoa. It told of a lantern who learned to shine by being near other warm lights. Eli thought of his family, of the hill, of the moon. The worry he still held grew lighter, as if someone had opened a window inside him and let in new air. A path of moss led them out of the root library and back to the Sky Lake shore. The cranes shifted and made a sound like rain on paper. Across the meadow, the fox lifted its head, met Eli's eyes, and blinked a slow, friendly blink, then tucked its nose back into its tail. They sat a while with the book and listened to the moth's tiny breaths. When they stood, the cranes on the bridge lifted their heads and rustled their paper wings, as if to say, "Go softly." The boat drifted on, and the bell on the kite gave a quiet ring that echoed in the meadow and in Eli's calm, slow heart. The silver thread ahead of them shone a little brighter, like a path that knows the way home and shares its knowing with your feet. The boat slid toward a gentle whirl made of silver mist. At its center was a pool so clear that the stars could see themselves. Mira called it the Pool of Quiet Echoes. She told Eli to lean over and listen. He did, and at first he heard only his breath. Then he heard a soft echo of his own voice, but slower and kinder, as if a future friend were talking to him. The echo said, "You are safe, little one. Your heart is strong and slow. Your thoughts can pass like clouds. You can rest." Eli felt something lift from his shoulders, like a coat he no longer needed. He let the feeling drift away. The pool made a soft ring, and the ripple moved out in perfect circles. When the ripple reached the edge of the pool, the moths in their sweaters folded their wings and slept. The fox tucked its nose under its tail. Even the paper cranes on the bridge settled, their wishes secure within their folds. Myra asked if Eli wanted to send a ripple to his town. Eli nodded. He cupped his hands, and the pool poured a little moonlit water into them. He held it with care, and the water did not spill. He touched the string of the kite with a wet finger, and the silver thread gleamed brighter. A ring of calm moved down the string, into the kite, into the bells, into the night. Far away, windows in the town glowed a little softer. Pillows felt cooler. Blankets felt heavier in a good way. Breaths slowed. A cat purred on a windowsill and then curled into a donut of fur. A baby sighed and let go of a tiny fist. Street trees rested their leaves and stood very still. The pool gave back the moon's smile. Eli thanked it. He looked at Mira. She looked up at the kite, which now floated like a quiet moon of its own. "It was time," she said. Not sad, not in a rush, only sure. Eli breathed in, breathed out, and felt the hill calling him back like home calls your name at the end of a long day. The boat rocked once, like a cradle, and the silver whirl unwound into a smooth path that pointed toward his town and his bed. They followed the path, the air growing warmer, the kind of warm that means the night is holding you. Eli wrapped his fingers around the string and felt the tiny marks where the bells were tied. Each knot was neat and small. The bells chimed once more, and the sound slipped into his chest and found a quiet place to stay, where songs can live, even when you are not singing them aloud. The moon watched kindly while they glided toward the hill, and the sky behind them closed its doors with a soft, satisfied hush. They followed the silver thread back toward the hill. The thread did not pull. It guided the way a gentle song guides your steps. As they went, the night gave small gifts. A wind laid a soft feather in the boat. A cloud opened and showed a hidden star, then closed with a wink. The fox walked along the shore of the sky lake and tipped its head in farewell. The paper cranes lifted once, then rested again. Eli held each gift in his mind, the way you hold a warm cup in two hands. When the boat reached the place where the thread met the moon, Myra tied a tiny knot in the kite's tail. She said the knot would remember the path they had taken, so Eli could find it again. She took off her red scarf and tied it near the knot. "Sometimes," she said, "you only need to see a small color to know you are not alone." Eli touched the scarf. It felt like the inside of a sunny pocket. They drifted down through the quiet air. The bells at the tail chimed, a soft pattern. "Hush, hush, rest now." Eli's feet found the grass of his hill. He held the string while the kite circled lower and lower, almost as if it did not want to stop. But at last it came to him, light as a feather landing on a palm. He folded it, careful and slow, and the bells made one last tiny ring, like the closing of a music box. Mira stood beside him, pale as morning. "Thank you," she said. "You listened to the quiet. That is all the night ever asks." Eli nodded. He wanted to say many things, but his words felt sleepy and soft. He said only, "Thank you for showing me," and that felt right. Mira smiled and tipped her head, and the moonlight passed through her like water through glass. She stepped back and became a small shape, then a star, then part of the sky. Eli looked up and saw the silver thread still faint on the kite's cloth. The knot and the red scarf moved a little in the breeze. He knew that even when he could not see them, the path would be there in the quiet. He pressed the kite to his chest and listened to the bells fade into the night, leaving a space that was not empty but full of rest, like a room after a lullaby when the last note is still in the air, sweet and light and sure. On the slope below, the town clock gave a single note that drifted across the roofs. Eli answered it with a slow breath. He felt the hill under his shoes, the night on his face, and the beat of his heart. He thought of children who might be awake, turning their pillows to the cool side, and he wished them sleep. The wish left his chest like a lantern and floated upward until it was only a speck beside the moon. Eli walked home down the hill with the folded kite against his heart. The houses were still. The town clock gave one gentle note, and the sound drifted like a yawn. Eli opened his door and slipped inside. His room was cool and safe. He set the kite by the window where the moon could see it. On his pillow lay the feather from the wind. He smiled and placed it under the edge, like a promise. He climbed into bed. The sheet felt like calm water. The blanket rested over him with a friendly weight. Eli thought of the pool, the fox, the paper cranes, the root library, the dandelion island, and Mira's red scarf. He thought of the ring of calm that had moved down the string and across the town. He pictured that ring now circling him, slow and gentle, like a friend tracing a lullaby in the air with a finger. His heartbeat found the dandelion clock song. Tick, tock, hush, rest. His breath matched the bells in, out, hush, rest. The moon watched over the window like a kind guard. The worry in his chest had become so small that it was no more than a dust mote in a sunbeam, and then even that drifted away. Eli closed his eyes and felt the hill under him, even though he lay in his bed. He felt the string in his hand, even though it rested by the window. He felt the silver thread, even though it slept, and the little knot, and the red scarf. He did not need to fly anywhere now. The quiet was here. It was in his room, in his pillow, in his breath. The last thing he heard before sleep was a tiny bell, far away and close at once, saying what the night always says when you are ready. Rest now, little one, rest. Outside, a breeze turned the leaves and settled them again. The town rested like a book with a ribbon tucked between its pages. Eli floated in sleep like a boat on quiet water. If a worry tried to speak, it yawned, grew small, and slept too. If you stood very close, you might hear the tiniest note, the kind that sounds not in your ears, but in your chest, telling you softly that morning will come and you will wake warm, and you will know the way back to the hill whenever you need it.